Get ahead in Wichita Falls, Texas. Wichita Falls offers a unique blend of small town charm, community spirit, and access to nature, which contributes to its appeal for residents. People appreciate the affordability and the various recreational opportunities. The city also has a rich history and hosts community events that foster connection among residents. For a bite to eat, Wichita Falls Brewing Company is a local brewery that offers a variety of craft beers and a tasty menu. Or try Casa Mañana, a popular spot for authentic Mexican cuisine, including tacos and enchiladas. If you're just looking to wet your whistle, the Iron Horse Pub is a laid-back bar with a great selection of beers and live music. Or snuggle up to small plates and a pint at Half Pint Tap Room and Restoration Hall. Among the many regional and city parks, Lucy Park features walking trails, picnic areas, and a pond. Weeks Park offers playgrounds, sports facilities, and beautiful walking paths. And Riverbend Nature Center is replete with a nature park with trails, gardens, and educational programs. There's always something to do with seasonal community events year-round. The Wichita Falls Rodeo is an annual event that celebrates Western culture with rodeo competitions. If you're the athletic type, saddle up for the Hotter and Hell 100, a popular cycling event that attracts participants from across the country. And when the mercury drops, Christmas in the Park is a festive event featuring light displays and community gatherings during the holiday season. These highlights showcase the vibrant community and diverse offerings that make Wichita Falls an attractive place to live. You're going to love it here. And there are 4 houses I'd like to show you today, and the first one is 4317 Faith Road. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath house with 1,050 square feet, and with an asking price of $129,000, a 20% down payment of $25,800, an interest rate of 6.996%, monthly taxes of $197, and a monthly insurance payment of $45, your total monthly payment for this house is $928, with a required household income of $33,408 at a 33% debt-to-income ratio. If you would like to use an FHA loan for this house with 3.5% down, your down payment will be $4,515 for a total monthly payment of $1,124 with a required household income of $40,464 at a 33% debt-to-income ratio. And the price-to-income ratio for this house is 3.18. Some additional notes for this house include that it is at least 67 days on the market, has experienced a price cut of $10,000 since listed. The Zestimate on this house is $122,600, which is $6,400 less than asking. This tells me that the seller knows what they can get, but started high just to negotiate down to let the buyer feel like they got a deal, which they will with a PIR of 3.18. And the second house is 1622 Parkdale Drive. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath house with 934 square feet, and with an asking price of $118,000, a 20% down payment of $23,600, an interest rate of 6.996%, monthly taxes of $180, and a monthly insurance payment of $41, your total monthly payment for this house is $849 with a required household income of $30,564 at a 33% debt-to-income ratio. If you would like to use an FHA product for this house at 3.5% down, your down payment will be $4,130 for a total monthly payment of $1,027 with a required household income of $36,972 at a 33% debt-to-income ratio. And the price-to-income ratio for this house is 3.19. Some additional notes for this house are that the days on market are at least 53, and it has experienced a price cut of $7,000 in the past 60 days. The Zestimate on this house is $111,600, which is $7,000 less than their asking price. Like the last house, this tells me that the seller priced it high to negotiate down so that the buyer feels like they got a deal, which they will with a PIR of 3.19. And the third house is 4604 North Eden Hills Circle. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath house with 1,062 square feet. And with an asking price of $124,990, a 20% down payment of $24,998, an interest rate of 6.996%, monthly taxes of $191, and a monthly insurance payment of $44, your total monthly payment for this house is $900, with a required household income of $32,400 at a 33% debt to income ratio. If you would like to use an FHA loan for this house with 3.5% down, your down payment is $4,375 for a total monthly payment of $1,089, with a required household income of $39,204 at a 33% debt to income ratio. And the price to income ratio for this house is 3.18. Some additional notes for this house include that the days on market are 132. It has had a price cut of $10,000 in the last 4 months, and the Zestimate for this house is $117,300, which is $7,690 less than the asking price, meaning that there is plenty of negotiating room for this house. And the fourth house is 1712 Las Vegas Trail. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath house with 1,580 square feet. And with an asking price of $145,000, a 20% down payment of $29,000, an interest rate of 6.996%, monthly taxes of $221, and a monthly insurance payment of $51, your total monthly payment for this house is $1,043, with a required household income of $37,548 at a 33% debt to income ratio. If you would like to use an FHA product for this house with 3.5% down, your down payment will be $5,075 for a total monthly payment of $1,264, with a required household income of $45,504 at a 33% debt to income ratio. And the price to income ratio for this house is 3.18. Some additional notes for this house include that it has been on the market for 116 days, has experienced a price cut of $12,300 since listed, and the Zestimate is $137,400, significantly less than the asking price of $145,000, meaning that there is plenty of room for negotiation on this house. And there are 4 jobs I'd like to share with you today. And the first one is Assistant Director of Dining Services at Chartwell's Higher Education, with a starting salary of $62,500. And the second job is Sales Management Trainee with Enterprise Mobility, with a starting salary of $47,500 a year. And the third job is Journeyman Electrician with the Siebold Company, with a starting salary of $66,560 a year. And the fourth job is Removable Gooseneck Heavy Haul Driver with United Lanes Express, with a starting salary of $104,000 a year. And I also have some additional figures about the national home market and in Texas specifically. But in August of 2024, home prices nationally were down 26% year over year. And the number of homes sold nationally was down 8.7% year over year, which meant that 30,565 fewer homes were sold this year than last year. In Dallas, prices are down, but people think that they may stabilize in that city. And the average price in August of 2024 was $439,000. In Austin, the average price was down 4.4% in August, and the average sales price was $439,000. Also, just like in Dallas, Houston was a bit lower. The average price was down 2.6%, and the average sales price in August was $336,000. In the get ahead markets that I show on this channel, they are far below the 4s and the 3s. You know that I try very hard to stay under $150,000 and try and hit that 3 PIR, price to income ratio. So these other cities are really on trend with the national averages and are really out of reach for a lot of people for many reasons, including current layoffs, which I have some data about also. And Although the doom tubers who talk about the layoffs and how prices are skyrocketing, overall, they are really coming down. So I don't know why people are focusing on prices that are going up. I don't even focus on those markets. I don't even look at those. They really have nothing to do with my channel because I'm trying to bring my viewers markets that are affordable and achievable and attainable. It is true that inflation overall is high. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Rates are still high. If you want to buy a car, get ready to pay a 9% interest rate for, I think it's any car past 2015. Anything older than 2015, you're probably going to pay like a 14% interest rate for a car that old. So rates are still high for cars. The jobs report shows that 3.3 million jobs were lost this year, which is not good. But there are some interesting details as you dig into those numbers. Business Insider reports that from July 2023 to July 2024, 40,000 less job openings were available, and this was in the white collar sector. This is not generalized across all sectors. This is just white collar office jobs. And another report shows that the white collar unemployment rate has gone up from 3.1 to 4% in 6 months, from January to July of 2024. So white collar jobs, that tech industry, the information technology industry is getting hit really hard. Also, more news on the work from home and return to office debate. Work from home and hybrid job postings are down 40% this year, which is really bad news for people who like working from home. 89% of six-figure jobs are now in person. So if you want to make six figures, you are 89% likely to be working in a cubicle, in cubicle land, in the bullpen with your colleagues. If you are fortunate enough to be working from home, you should be very thankful for this. And if you are making six figures, it is likely that they will try and do their very best to get you to come back to work. I have a client who is a C-suite level executive, and I remember him telling me a few months ago that he was laying off a lot of people and he wasn't happy about it, but he also had to tell people that if they lived within 50 miles of a hub, of a brick and mortar office with their insurance company, that they had to go into work. And one of the most difficult conversations he had with this policy with an individual was that a guy lived 49 miles away from the office, and he bent the rules just a little bit for this guy because he liked him and he was a good employee, but he got in trouble with his higher up, and his higher up told him that there can be no accommodations, no special treatment. So my client had to go back and tell this employee that he had to go into work. And I think the employee stayed, but he was not happy because he had to drive 49 miles every day to his job and from his job because he was within the limits. So this work from home and return to office debate is really contentious, but the numbers don't lie. The employers are winning the war on return to office policies. And it sounds like some people think that hybrid roles are going to stick around. So there's going to be some kind of sustainable hybrid work from home, return to office compromise with their employees, especially if they're good ones. Just a lot of really interesting news and figures about how the world of work is changing before our eyes. And this does affect the housing market as well. It doesn't sound like a whole lot of blue collar jobs are being affected by all these layoffs, and that's why I profile affordable housing markets in which you can have a blue collar or a service industry job and afford these homes on one salary, which the doom tubers will never tell you. And that's why I'm here. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Remember to like, subscribe, comment below, and don't give up when you can get ahead.